So, first of all, let me introduce my good friend, Dustin Anderson. If you don't know Scottsdale Real Estate Group, he has been an intricate part of my family, my business as a gym owner for years, and I've seen him transform. So he came over to the house today to do a little mastermind planning, and I said, hey, DA, I love what you're doing right now because I didn't know how to do any of those things when I was your age. And yeah, I'm almost 8 or 9 years older. Dustin is 32 years old.
32.
32 years old, and he created a real estate company, a family business. So I've invested in real estate throughout my life. My grandfather did. My family has. Obviously, we understand how important the asset of real estate is, but most of us don't know how to do it. I specifically didn't know how to do a thing when I was flipping houses back in 03, 04. We've seen the market do this. Okay? So, as an investor, as somebody who's created a business out of this, I'm a first-time buyer. What's more important for me? To buy a house that I'm going to live in, or to buy a house that's going to become an investment?
Well, as far as a first-time home buyer, it's the house that you're going to live in. It's where you're going to wake up every single morning. It's very important to get a good investment and to buy it right, but it's not a huge investment. Considering it's your home, it's where you're going to live. You don't have to buy the greatest deal. It's got to be the property that you see yourself being in there with raising your family for a long time.
So what is considered a long time nowadays? My mom used to buy houses, and every 2 to 3 years we would move. As soon as we make a couple $100,000, we would be moving to a new house, and that's how she made some money to her retirement. So is there a sweet spot?
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, if you can make a couple $100,000 every couple of years, then I'm sure that's tempting to go ahead and sell. But I think the average is about 7 years. So if somebody's like one of these people that moves often, or sometimes at least, it's 7 years. My parents, they've been in their house for 32 years. Wow. So sometimes people just stay put and they're happy. But yeah, if somebody's somebody that moves, it's an average of 7 years. 7 years.
Okay, so first time buyer, I'm buying a house to live in. I buy this house. I've lived in it now for 8 years. Okay.
Longest time you've ever lived anywhere, right?
Longest time I've ever lived in a house anywhere. 8 years. My family and I moved here in 2007, and I actually found this neighborhood, this community online. So we moved out here. We put a full price offer on this property, on this exact model home, but right around the corner, and we got outbid. This is obviously before things started to change. Well, we decided that we were going to rent for a year, and then we bought the same model house across the street, a couple $100,000 less. So obviously timing is everything. So we have equity in this house. My question to you is this. Would you say to somebody like myself, who you understand my family, you understand what we do for business, would you look at possibly taking money out of this house to buy a rental property in the same neighborhood? Let's say I could pull $200,000 out. What would you do, or what would you say to somebody like me who only has a primary residence right now? We don't have any rental properties, we don't have any commercial properties, but we know that we want to start investing again in real estate.
Well, yeah, if you take it out and don't buy a Ferrari or a boat or something like that, I think it's a fantastic idea, especially with the interest rates that are so low right now. Because yeah, you can certainly return more than 4% on your money, which is what you could probably get a loan for now. So if you were to pull $200,000 out, maybe buy a handful of rental properties, maybe space it over a few different years, kind of cost average them, so that you're not trying to time the market. That's the biggest thing, people mess up with. They think, oh, we're here, the market's at the top, we're going to sell our property, get a bunch of cash, and then buy something else. Whatever you're going to buy is at the top of the market as well. So, you can't outsmart it. It's kind of like what Warren Buffett says about investing in stocks. So, you're a real estate investor, you're in it for the long term, and you can't get hurt that way.
So you started right out of college, graduated from ASU?
Yes, ASU 2007.
Yeah, so. And you got into real estate right away, and you got into it without knowing a thing. You literally went to some of the auctions and spent your entire day there. Like you see some of these house flipping television shows.
Yeah.
You learned from that. But you started with 0 properties.
Yeah,
How many properties do you have now?
Probably between flips and rental properties, about 45 or so to 50 maybe.
45 properties, okay? 32 years old. He's on track. What would you say to yourself 10 years ago? If you saw yourself standing there at one of those house flipping places, if you saw yourself at an auction, excuse me, what would you say to yourself at that auction 10 years ago?
I would say just start small and let it build on each other. You know, you buying a rental property, even nowadays where they actually can cash flow a few $100s, it's not sexy at all. And people are like, well, what are you going to do with that $200 a month you're making? But when you start compounding them and piling them on top of each other, you know, then it can be a significant business. And, you know, then when, you know, you really start paying them down and the equity starts building up, you know, then you got something substantial. So, you know, start small. It's not going to happen overnight, but yeah, you know, anyone can do it, and everyone I think wants to do it at least a little bit. You know, people, you know, every day say, well, I wish I could flip houses. That sounds like so much fun, or have rental properties, and everyone knows they can, but it's just whether or not you do it or not, and kind of do what you know will work. So I view it as the most safe investment, you know, in the world, because as long as you are on top of it and you have somebody else there more than likely paying at least your mortgage or more, you know, it's hard to get hurt as long as you have a fixed interest rate.
That's good. Okay, so I'm watching this video. I'm cash heavy, and I want to invest. I don't want to do the work. I don't want to sit in an open house. I don't want to do anything. I want to invest in you and your family business. By the way, tell us quickly about your family business and how you decided to create that.
Well, you know, my dad has actually been in real estate for a very long time, over 30 years. But he's just sold traditional residential real estate. He dabbled in, I think, some flips back when he was younger, but never took it to the extreme that we are now. But so he had the knowledge. You know, he's kind of our salesperson. My brother's on board. He's our contractor. I make all the buying decisions and kind of the game plan type stuff of our business. So, you know, and who better would you want to work with than your family? And that's the, you know, truthfully, those are the only people you can trust in the world. So, you know, I wouldn't have it any other way.
So I watched this video. I'm a real estate, you know, somebody who's been in the game or understands it, or I'm cash heavy and I want to invest. I'm going to say, hey, you know what, Dustin? I'm going to sell all my Facebook stock and I'm going to take $100,000 and I'm going to pay you. What can we see? What kind of return could I see on that investment? And what would be your ideal lender or your ideal person to work with to finance some of these projects?
Yeah, you know, somebody with cash. You know, it depends. If you want to be primary first position loan on something, you know, you're probably not going to get quite as good of a rate of return. But if you want to invest with us, you know, in some flip properties, which, you know, a lot of people, it's a little more untraditional. But we could probably return, you know, about 12% on your money. But, you know, some long-term stuff, you know, anything under 8%. You know, we would love to work with people, and you know, we have opportunities come across our desk every single day now. So we've done well over 150 flips, you know, and again, we have about 35 or so rental properties now, or 40 that we hold in long term. So we know what we're doing. You know, at some point, you know, you guys, you know, out there, you can't be in it like we are every single day. So partnering with somebody like us would be, you know, a good fit probably.
Okay, so like I said, you started training at CrossFit Scottsdale 6 years ago. We've known each other since that time. You've seen my kids grow up. You've seen my family. You've seen all of it. I trust you with my entire life. Now, you're standing here today, and you've seen some tremendous growth in your life since you know, being a part of our programs and now being a part of this mastermind. Mm-hmm. First of all, tell the viewers what you've learned about meditation and the streak that you're on and how that's helped you sort of understand the calm in the storm. Because when you're dealing with 50 properties, you're putting out a lot of fires.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it can drive you, you know, crazy if you let it. There's always something going on. I know this summer we had, gosh, between everything, probably about 8 air conditioners that we had to almost fully replace. So that can make you want to pull your hair out. But, you know, yeah, every single morning, wake up 5 o'clock, tall glass of water, an espresso shot, and then I have just 10 minutes of meditation, and, you know, that lets you, you know, calm yourself down, and, you know, when everything's kind of hitting the fan, you can kind of go back to that. And I've really, you know, seen some significant, you know, gains in that regard.
What's the streak? How many days?
It's, I think, about 480 or so.
480
days in a row.
Yeah.
So Luke and I had lunch, I guess, you know,
480
days ago, and I downloaded the app, and then, you know, I wanted to beat his record, so I kept going.
Yeah. So daily meditation, daily working on yourself, doing things that are uncomfortable to you.
Yeah, like this Facebook Live. I sat over there in the corner for about 10 minutes until Luke literally dragged me over here. So I'm glad he did, though.
Yeah. So breaking through, guys. You know, if there's somebody out there that's looking at possibly joining our next round of Mastermind, what would you say to them to inspire them to do things that are uncomfortable and to do things where they work on themselves on a regular and daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so many people, you get kind of just bogged down in your business and your day-to-day life. And, you know, it may be going great, but just taking a little bit of time, and whether or not that be, you know, even just once a week to meet with a group of guys or somebody like Luke, you know, it helps so much. And, you know, it's just amazing, like the leaps and bounds we've been able to make since starting this thing. So I'm glad Luke invited me, and, you know, I would recommend it to anybody else.
And your first Facebook Live video going out on top,
yeah.
Feeling good, looking good.
That's right.
Yeah, that a boy. Dustin Anderson, Scottsdale Real Estate Group. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, absolutely. Next time I might wear something other than a bathing suit. But
that looks good, man. That's the attire for your company, man. That's
right.
the swag right there, brother. Appreciate you. Have a great day, my man.
Thank you.